How victory in the Pacific was decided before Pearl Harbor, shocking U.S. strategies. The hidden game, how America won the Pacific. Before Pearl Harbor, we'll take a detailed look at what happened, who's to blame, and the consequences. Support the channel by subscribing, commenting, and sharing this video. This topic is too serious to ignore. Some wars are decided long before the first shot is fired. History calls it chance, but chance has nothing to do with it. Sometimes a nation seems caught off guard, yet everything was already in motion. Every step, every risk, every silence. That was the story of Pearl Harbor. Not a surprise, a calculation. America didn't just survive that morning. It used the fire to ignite the greatest military machine the world had ever seen. And what if the Pacific victory was sealed long before the Japanese planes crossed the clouds above Hawaii? What if the outcome was written years earlier, inside secret maps, war games, and oil contracts? Let's go back, late 1930s, the United States, powerful, restless, and hungry for reach beyond its shores. Washington whispered one phrase again and again: control the oceans, and you control the world. The Pacific wasn't just water. It was destiny. Every island, every bay, every reef, a chess square waiting for the right move. Inside the Navy Department, one file was whispered about: War Plan Orange. It wasn't fiction. It was a step-by-step blueprint for a war with Japan. Drawn over 2 decades, it named the battles before they even happened: Midway, Guadalcanal, Leyte. Each marked as a future turning point. The plan said America would be forced to fight across the ocean and win by strangling Japan's lifelines: oil, steel, time. But a plan needs a trigger, and history delivered one with smoke over Pearl Harbor. By the time Japanese pilots took off from their carriers, Washington already knew Tokyo was desperate. U.S. intelligence had cracked their diplomatic codes. Messages were intercepted, decoded, discussed. And yet, on that quiet Sunday, no alarm sounded. Why? Because sometimes shock is the only way to wake a nation. America needed unity. Without a catastrophe, no president could drag a weary people into another war across the sea. But if the ocean itself brought the flames, then every heart would rise in one direction. And they did. In one day, isolation turned into vengeance. Factories that had slept through the Depression roared to life. Engines, shipyards, assembly lines, already built, already waiting. Within hours, the United States became a war giant, ready to unleash a plan years in the making. While Japan celebrated, America mobilized. And what followed wasn't chaos. It was execution. War Plan Orange evolved into Rainbow 5, spreading across the Pacific like a storm of logistics. Each convoy, each supply route, each base, already mapped out. The real weapon wasn't steel, it was planning. America didn't chase glory, it built time. While Japan burned its fuel in endless campaigns, America opened refineries. While Japan's factories strained, America's multiplied. It wasn't a duel of admirals, it was a duel of endurance. Behind every battle lay another front, the economic war. For years, Washington had tightened the noose. Oil embargoes, trade freezes, blocked assets. Japan's tanks ran dry, its planes grounded, its empire starved. The message was clear: surrender to U.S. terms or strike first. And Japan struck, exactly as predicted. Why Pearl Harbor? Because it was perfect for the story. Far from the mainland, vulnerable enough to shock, not enough to cripple. And here's the strange part: every U.S. aircraft carrier was out at sea that morning. Not one was in the harbor. Coincidence or foresight? Within months, American intelligence broke Japan's naval code. Admiral Nimitz used that secret to ambush the Imperial fleet at Midway. 4 Japanese carriers went down. It was the moment the tide turned, and it wasn't luck. Midway had been chosen years before as the decisive point in the plan. America's strength was never just firepower, it was anticipation. Officers were trained not only to fight, but to think, to predict. Every possible move of Japan had been studied, simulated, and mapped. So when the war began, the US didn't react. It executed. The Pacific skies filled with B-17s, Catalinas, and carrier groups. The war stretched beyond. The horizon fought through radio waves and radar beams. For the first time, information became a weapon, and America mastered it. But even technology couldn't outshine the factory floor. By the early 1940s, US industry outproduced Japan by staggering margins. When Japan built a few dozen planes, America rolled out thousands. When Japan lost a carrier, America launched two. The math itself became destiny. Still, numbers don't tell the whole story. Spirit did. After Pearl Harbor, America wasn't fighting out of fear. It was fighting for purpose. Children gathered scrap metal, women built bombers, farmers worked by lanterns to feed soldiers half a world away. It wasn't revenge anymore. It was rebirth. Meanwhile, Japan drowned in its own victories. Each island captured meant another burden, more garrisons, more fuel, more ships. The empire expanded faster than it could breathe, and the US kept tightening the circle: Guadalcanal, Saipan, Iwo Jima. Each name a nail in the coffin of a dream that had already expired. And as Japan fought for survival, across the ocean another project grew in silence. A weapon that would end the war with one command. It didn't start after Pearl Harbor. It began long before. Scientists had been working on the atom, whispering about a power that could end all wars. When the moment came, the switch was ready. In August, the sky over Japan burned brighter than the sun, and in that light, the entire Pacific story was revealed for what it was. Not luck, not chance, but the fulfillment of a plan that began decades earlier. So was it destiny or design? The documents say design. America didn't just win a war, it rewrote the rulebook. Provocation became strategy, patience became power, loss became the key to victory. Pearl Harbor wasn't just an attack, it was a doorway. Through it stepped a new kind of America, global, industrial, and unstoppable. It learned that power isn't about the first blow. It's about the one you prepare for long before the fight begins. And maybe that's the real lesson. Some victories start as tragedies. Some disasters are only masks for something far bigger. When the smoke cleared over Hawaii, a new world had already begun. One built not on chance, but on calculation. So tell me, was Pearl Harbor the beginning of America's fight, or simply the final move in a game already won?